Let's talk about Alyssa Mercante, chat. You guys already know there is a lot going on with Alyssa Mercante and SmashJT. And honestly, all of it is just really, really, really sad. It's really stupid. It's petty. It's bullshit. It's lies, obviously. It's someone who just can't take an L. You know what I mean? Like somebody who just can't take an L because they're being paid to not take an L, right? It's bullshit. It's petty drama. Well, apparently you guys already know from the last stream that she is supposedly pursuing legal action. Now, I want to bring up my tweet. Let's bring up my tweet first, okay? So I made a tweet from a screenshot that was sent to me about Alyssa Mercante. And the screenshot says the following. I just want the lies about me to stop being spread. That is my goal. None of this has been easy emotionally, financially, personally, professionally, but I am determined to establish fact from fiction and to set a standard for what is and isn't okay in the digital space. Also, maybe less harassment and doxing. That would be sick. Where do I even begin? Right? So, Alyssa Mercante seems like she's trying to turn herself into the poster child for mainstream gaming. She's trying to turn herself into this martyr where everybody's going to rally behind her because she's the one. She's the chosen one. She's the Rey Skywalker. She was chosen to own the chuds. That's how it seems. And by doing all of that, she decides that the best way to do it is by playing victim and claiming that this is all about lies being spread. There's no lies being spread about Alyssa Mercante. All anybody has ever talked about regarding her or surmised an opinion regarding about her has been bolstered from her own tweets about herself. You must be in a major, major delusional state if you believe that everything being said about you is a lie. There are opinions that people have of you because of the way that you present yourself online. It's not like somebody came out and said you're a PDF file. That would seemingly be a lie. That would be a bad thing, right? That would be a definitive statement. But by somebody saying, oh, you probably sucked a lot of dicks, is not a bad opinion to have when you admitted yourself that you are slutty, not only on video, but in multiple different tweets. You realize that we have these videos saved. We have these screenshots saved. At some point, you have to take accountability for some of the stuff you said online. People are allowed to have their opinions of you. You cannot police people's opinions. So you're saying that you're trying to stop the lies being spread, but there is no lies being told. So that's number one. Number two, she lies again and says none of this has been easy emotionally, financially, personally, or professionally. So if that's the case, why did you make multiple tweets saying that none of this bothers you? If this hasn't been easy emotionally, financially, personally, or professionally, why did you threaten to fight people in real life on video for everybody to see? Why did you do that? Right? It doesn't seem like the behavior of somebody who is emotionally frazzled by what's happening on the internet right now against her. Everything that has happened to you and said about you was at your own cause. Because as we have showcased, if you don't do something stupid, then we don't talk about you. Up until recently, I haven't made a video about Alyssa Mercante for well over a month because she was doing nothing, which is fine. She was doing her little articles, which she's allowed to do, but they weren't stupid and they weren't necessarily lies because they were garbage game guides. So it's not relevant. There's nothing to talk about there. We let it be. But the moment you say something stupid, the moment you say something like this, then of course, yeah, we're going to talk about it. And people try to say, well, you're just benefiting her. Not really. Because if you look at her numbers, they're not going up. They're going up very slowly. It's just normal, regular growth. So, again, people have a right to talk about the stupid stuff that you do without being sued over it, without being lambasted over it. We're allowed to say what we want to say, just like you're allowed to say what you want to say. And God knows you enact that right as much as you possibly can by saying all of the stupid shit that you've been saying over the past 5 months. I think it's incredible that somebody is able to sit there and actually believe that they are so innocent that a lawsuit is justifiable when you're not innocent in the slightest. You're an insufferable person in every capacity. And I'm sure you view us in the same exact manner, and that's okay. I'm not going to sue you over it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to sue you over you thinking I'm insufferable. But apparently, you can't do the same because you just can't take the L. Because the truth is, no matter how much you want to make yourself seem like you're the poster child of the mainstream gaming industry, the only people who are siding with you is the mainstream gaming industry. Nobody else that looks at this situation is siding with you. And unfortunately for you, that means you're in the minority, which has been statistically proven. So it doesn't make you very happy. I'm sure it makes you quite upset. But you have been trying to tell people that none of this bothers you. You have multiple tweets out there that I'm sure you tried to delete, but it's too late because we already have the screenshots. There's multiple tweets out there of you saying that this stuff doesn't bother you, that the chuds would never bother you, that you would never waste energy being upset over what the chuds have to say. So how are you here right now saying that this is not easy emotionally? Were you lying then or are you lying now? Which is it? You say this is not easily financially, and yet you haven't started a GoFundMe because you know once you do, people are going to call you out for the grift. And then you say it's not easy professionally, but then you talked about how many clicks that you got by writing your article that lied by omission about Sweet Baby Inc. So clearly it couldn't be that bad professionally. Not only that, your boss, Carolyn Petit, he actually said he supports everything that you do. So how bad could it really be professionally if everybody you work with supports you in what you're doing? They support you in your lies. We also have their tweets as well. So is it really bad professionally, or are you just lying now as well? What is it? We're all very confused. Then you're trying to say all you want to do is establish fact from fiction. But you can't even do that in an article you write. You try to create fact from fiction. You lie through omission. And it's something that is a known problem in the gaming industry. Then she tries to say, I'm going to set a standard for what is and isn't okay in the digital space. You know, the last time somebody tried to do that, you know what happened to them? They lost. Every single time they lost. Oh, but you're different, right? The people who are surrounding you are telling you that you're stunning and brave for doing this. You're different. You're the one that's going to bring balance to the force. That's you. You're different. No, you're not different. You are the worst example of all the cases we have ever seen. And the crazy thing is, those cases we saw were terrible and they didn't even have a case. So how are you going to have a case? Again, that's up to SmashJT's lawyer and your lawyer to decide, and the court system, obviously, to decide. But anybody with a brain can see that this is not going to end very well for you. Then she says, oh, and maybe less harassment and doxing. That would be sick. You know what would be sick? You know what would be sick? What would be sick is if when you have a disagreement with someone online, that the person you have a disagreement with doesn't think it's a good idea to go message your wife and go tattletale, right? Or at least do what they think is tattletaling, right? It ended up blowing up in your face, but that would be kind of sick, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be kind of sick to like not message people's families and stuff?